buildings that we would have on the field. Everything was primarily wood. The buildings at Tindall Field, Florida, however, were stucco type barracks. And let's see, let me just turn on through here. Now let me see. So, and you can see here, yeah, subsection. I was in a subsection 1-8, shipping. That was when I was leaving. And this would show the exterior of a dining hall, or a mess hall, as it was called. I should have told you about an experience that I had at Biloxi.
Is this your plane?
No, these are just pictures of planes that I took. This is a picture of my second cousin, who ultimately became my brother-in-law, because my wife Betty is a twin, and so he married Betty's twin, and he's now deceased, but he stayed in service, got his commission, stayed in service, and flew B-29s and B-52s before coming out, going with Lockheed as a sales engineer. Let's see. This is the enlisted man's club at Rio Hatta. This is a good picture because it shows what the face of it looked like. And this is a good picture of post headquarters. Here's a good picture of the entrance to the theater there. We had a wood frame theater. And let's turn back just a minute. I was going to show you. This was our chapel. I may have a better picture of that, but I'll come back to those other pictures. So anyway, just skipping on over. This is just personal here. Pictures that I've just gathered. Okay, this is friends of my family, and this was at Tindall Field. This is the sanctuary at Tindall Field, Florida. Gosh, haven't looked at these in so long. I think this is a good picture. This was while I was doing instruction, and this is the Emerson nose turret. And as I told you, they all were placed on bases so that the person could get into the turret easy. And so that was the picture of one of them.
Now, is this you up here with the 50?
Yes, that's the 50.
Okay, let me get that. Do you know what year that was taken, roughly?
That was probably taken 1945.
Okay.
Then let's see, here are some other pictures. Here's a typical instruction room. You can see the board there, the blackboard. Someone took this picture of me instructing these two students. They were going through gunnery schools to learn gunnery. And let's see, that's the side of the turret. And let's see, that's about all there. This is just family here. Family.
And what is this picture with the shotgun here?
That was a shotgun that was owned by my first cousin.
Oh, okay.
This was just a personal. This was at his home, and
I thought that may have been one you trained with.
No. Let's see. These are just family pictures here. All right, here we go. I mentioned Milton Caniff, and this was a feature type thing that he did. I think that's an interesting piece.
Yeah, let me...
But that's the kind of caricatures that they drew, during that era. And of course, this featured the symbol of the 6th Air Force base. The 6th Air Force had the symbol of a ship.
Do you know why that was chosen as as the patch?
No, I think that he must have been just interested in that area of operations,
Mm-hmm.
or the Air Force public relations or photography people encouraged him to do this. But I thought it was good to take because that was just sort of a good takeoff publicity-wise. This was the ship that I took a picture of. It's a ship that I came to Panama on. And this is moving on over here now. Here's beginning. You can get a good picture of what. Here's some of the right. Here's mail call. Can you see, Elizabeth? Now this is a B-17. No, a B-25. Here's another one here. The guiding light.
Let me hold on just a second.
All right.
You're going through them before I can get focused.
Well, that's all right. I'll just pause until you.
Okay, so this one is the guiding light.
Right. This
And
is
what's the
mail
one?
call.
Got a little bit of
Yeah,
no,
I'll hold
we
it
just
up a
need to
bit.
tilt it because
Yeah,
we got some
Can,
glare.
can I pull this page over some?
Yeah, that's
I hate to
still got.
have
There
my
you go.
thumb
That's fine, right there.
on it.
Okay.
All right. Now this is the typical barracks in Panama.
Okay.
All just screened, no windows, because the climate's so warm there. This is the NCO club in Rio Hatta. Coming on through here some now. Let's see if there's anything significant. Here's another picture. Let's see if I can. Now see, this girl is not labeled as to what her name is. This is the theater I was telling you about at Rio Hatta.
Okay.
This is a picture that I took off the coast of Panama where I was stationed. All right, here we go. Here's some more. Guiding light. Dream Girl is the one I was telling you about. Not American Girl, Dream Girl.
That was the
That
was the one you
that-
guys
that-
ended up on.
Yeah, we flew a lot in that, and then this one is the guiding light. Jungle Queen.
Let's slide this.
Slide, all right.
I want to get a good shot of
Because
these.
this was a friend of mine that I took of him.
Jungle Queen, and then right above Jungle Queen is
Dream Girl.
Dream Girl.
Now, I don't know what this one is.
Okay. Oh, so this one, it's right above Jungle Queen is the one
Right.
is not labeled.
Right.
Now let's see if we can get Dream Girl. Get a good shot of that one. Now, who was painting these?
Well, they would be done by people that you might say in the artist community,
Mm-hmm.
and personnel, Army personnel that would do this. And it was all done, by virtue of whatever the ship was named. If a person said, well, we want to call our ship Dream Girl, one would be drawn. I don't know a great deal of the background of it. But
Okay.
then moving on over here, let's see if there's any others. Well, here's Dream Girl again. That's all right.
Slide it back down.
Here's Dream Girl. This is one that I don't have a name for that one. Here's another picture that there's no name on. The names weren't necessarily on every one, It's just a matter of that it was just a symbol, really. And these are pictures that I took from like the waist position. These were another flight of B-25s here. These are the ships, some ships in the harbor. There was some taken by a friend of mine who had better equipment than I had. This is just off the coast of Panama. This again is the theater there at Rio Hatta. This This did not happen while I was there, but before I got there, Bob Hope had come
Really?
to Riahata. And that's a picture of Bob Hope. It's an unclassified picture, and that was one that I got from a photographer friend in service.
Huh.
So it was a real good picture of Bob Hope.
Looks like you're having a luau there.
Right. This lady is a USO hostess, and this is an area that we would meet in, and this is a part of my crew that I was with here.
Have you kept up with any of your crewmates?
No, only one, and that's this captain that I was telling you about. Now this is another picture. These are just, you can hardly see these. Let's see. Now this was taken in Talara, Peru. We had a large Air Force base there. Talara is just north of Lima. And then here is another girl, another umbrella. Want me to hold that up?
No, I think I got it.
All right. I don't think I have too much more, but
That's all right. These are
that's
interesting.
another picture of ships in flight. These these two young ladies were friends of some other individuals that I knew, and they lived in Panama.
Was there much interaction between the American servicemen and the Panamanians?
Not too much. We would go from Riahata on, let's say, a 3-day leave or a 2-day leave to Panama City, but the only reaction you'd have, interaction, would be going somewhere to eat. And let's see now, some of this was taken in Cuba. These were taken in Cuba. These are pictures that I'm going to share with a doctor friend who was a prisoner in Cuba, and he immigrated to the United States. He's a retired surgeon, neurologist. And I'm going to take these pictures and let him look at them. Let's see if there are any others. These are just personal pictures here. Here's one ship. Now, this was a good friend of mine. He was the radio operator for the general ship, and I think that's the general ship right there, Bell something. But it doesn't look like it. It looks like it has another part of the name. But that's the ship that Now, I did keep up with him for a long time. He became ultimately a lieutenant colonel and moved back to Atlanta, and we did keep up with one another. But you know, time just divides people. And I don't
Get a good shot of this 24 here. Well, did anybody ever see a submarine?
No, not to my knowledge. There were people that really believed that they were there, but we never saw one. Not in the group that I was in at the time. Let's see. Is there anything else? There. Now, wait a minute. This is the crew of Sigma News.
Oh, okay. We want to get a good shot of that, too.
That's the group. Let's see. And I'll show you. I don't have these names on the tip of my tongue, but this was the pilot here. And the man that I kept up with is this man here. And his name was Captain Furco. And you see there were a couple of enlisted men there. I believe all of these were officers. So that's a group. And ultimately, I submitted this picture to the Sigma New magazine, so it came out in the Sigma New magazine.
Did they publish it?
Yes, I don't know where it is now today. I've got so much stored. I'm a pack rat, but I just haven't come across that as yet. But I was real proud of it. Here's 3 of them who are in this picture, or these pictures. And this is This is off-duty time. Here's a little different picture. This was a ship I flew on a good bit, and that's me really up there where the pilot is. But that's a picture that is not named. This gives you a picture of the height of a B-24.
This may be slide it
Slide
down.
it down some, all right.
Let's see what. Let's let it lay
excuse me.
flat.
All
Let's
right.
see if we can get. There we go. Glare's
Just
kinda
a-
bad here. Okay.
Let me just, I think I've just about shown. The crew that I was telling you about was a Sigma Nu. This is the captain. He was the pilot in the group. One was an administrative person. There, of course, I am with my gunner's wings on. And these are pictures that we took around our area. I just took those out of the waist position. This aerial view, someone gave me the aerial view. Some pictures I have in here. Gosh, they are taken out of the things have fallen out. This is a good picture of the waist gun position in a 24.
Okay, let's get it.
And this was taken 27th of July. This is the inside of our chapel, which ties in with these two programs here. There's one there. This is dated Christmas Day, 25 December 1945. So this is the service. This man's name was Chaplain Gertner. I remember him very well, but then this other one is, I think, at about the same time of service, yes, but I can't see the date. Gosh, I do not quickly see a date on here. They've got the choir and the ushers. Christmas 45. So this is just another week of that. So I held on to those. This is a typical picture. I took this in my trips up to the jungles.
Huh.
And this is a typical working girl that you can see that she's in there with other people working and in the field, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then, see, I showed you that. I showed you that right there. These are some more pictures. This is like a rodeo type, Panamanian rodeo. And this is the kind of rustic appearance you would see for the areas or stalls. Again, now that gives you an overall view of a barracks at that time.
Good shot of that.
And you can see that barracks is just behind the coast,
Sure. You were right on the coast.
right on the coast.
What's the
Now look there. I'm sorry.
okay. All right.
And as I was saying, this is a very good shot in retrospect as I look back. And then this is inside of the chapel there at Rio Hatta. This is a typical vehicle that you would see during that era in Panama. This was not one that I took, but someone else took it and gave it to me. This was NCO. This was really a gathering, a social gathering of soldiers, both enlisted and or non-commissioned and commissioned officers. Let's see, here's 6th Air Force Headquarters Squadron. That was in Panama. Let's see if there's anything else. This I showed you the radio operator for the general ship. This was this was his monkey.
Huh.
And he had someone to take care of it back at the Howard Air Force Base. And so whenever he flew there, the general had no problem with him. So I was with him one time on a weekend there, and so I held that small monkey.
Oh, that looks like a parakeet.
Oh, well, okay, that is a parakeet. All right, there was a monkey that we had too. All right.
So you had a parakeet too, though.
Two had a parakeet too and a monkey. This is the person I told you ultimately became. I don't know what he was discharged as, but he was a lieutenant colonel, like in the early 1980s. Here, this man's name was Bob Hazlett. And these are pictures. Here's some more pictures on ships. Alley-oop. Let's see. That was inside of a hangar. This is the Captain Furco and his wife. Now, interestingly enough, the officer personnel were able to have their wives to come to Rio Hatta. Now, I don't know how, I cannot recall how long they would stay, but this is a picture I took of them. He's the one that came back to Atlanta, and they lived over here off of Ivy Road. And another picture of him. This is a typical picture of various shows to come, movies to come into the base. Shall I turn? All right, now this right here is through our discharge, anticipated discharge, and this was at the barracks at Rio Hatta, and you can see everybody had their equipment and subject to examination and so forth. So, and here's a closer view of the barracks, and which included the dining hall. These other pictures are in other location. No, this is the barracks part. This is, I believe, this is the dining hall entrance. These are not pictures of Rio Hatta. I hope I have a picture of the lady that I was telling you about a minute ago. Yes, there she is. I went to school with her younger sister, Ann, and this is the person that was going home from Panama. And her name was Armor, A-R-M-O-R. I'll tell you about that afterwards. But anyway, this was on the ship going back to the States. And that's the end of it. My wife is throwing it away, and or my mother. I had to really eat crow after that.
So your Boy Scout handbook had been found.
It had been found, that's right. But gosh, you don't know of how many times I looked for it and couldn't find it. But I had an interesting tour of duty, and one that I shall always prize and consider a benefit in my lifetime. And as I say, going back to those three words, I think that the personnel basically were loyal, and they had dedication to being disciplined. And another value is, loyalty and dedication, and to what the cause was at the time. And everybody was generally cheerful. You didn't see many people fighting one another, like sometimes the stories help to say that was the case, but I didn't see any of that. So anyway, it was just an adventure, but one that I think would help a person. In Israel today, both men and women, young men and women, have to serve 2 years in the service. And I always thought that, it was a lot of work. You didn't know from one day to the next really what was going to happen. But on the other hand, when you look at it all together, whether it be a 2-year stretch or a 4-year stretch, there was the benefit of having more discipline and being able to buckle down. So sometimes I think that, gosh, if we had something like that on the basis today, not wartime situation, but just the discipline of service, would help a person and maybe turn around some of these people that are aimed at on the wrong path.
Right.
Because they would really get a good smattering of what discipline is as far as military is concerned. So I appreciate very much you giving me this opportunity,
Hey, we
Myers and
appreciate
Elizabeth, for showing you that. And
we appreciate you taking some time out of your day and spending it with us.
well, thank you.